Hello and welcome to our final masterclass of the series, Turning Your Intentions into Reality. My name is Claudia Muktiramjaya.
And I'm Adam Satyaramjaya. Those names after our first initial names are actually through the Kalinatha yoga lineage. And the Mukti Ramjaya is about liberation, moksha, liberation is what that word is. And then Satya Ramjaya, the translation of that is devotion to God's truth. God being whatever that is for whoever, not necessarily the big man with the white beard, but integrity, I would say, is what it means to me.
Yes, and we are the founders of Purple Ego Tribe. And today we're excited to guide you through an exploration of your will, one of the most powerful tools in your personal growth journey. So let me share my screen. So give me just one.
Awesome.
There we go. Can everybody see the screen well? Yes. Okay. Perfection.
Thank you for the thumbs up. So we already went through this.
Yes. So we come from a Kalinatha yoga lineage, from an ashram in Florida called Kashi Ashram. As I mentioned, we're both the co-founders of Purple Ego Tribe. We're certified psychosynthesis transpersonal guides, spiritual mentor. I work with women. I'm a divine feminine guide, group healing facilitator, Reiki master, certified angel healer practitioner, and other titles, but we didn't want to bore you with other titles. So we just share with you the ones that are relevant to our journey, the Alchemy of Self.
Yes, and you've already got my name, a co-founder of Purple Eagle Tribe, certified psychosynthesis transpersonal guide, spiritual mentor to Sacred Masculine guide. Actually, a little plug here. We're doing a 13-month masculine journey as well. We're working through different archetypes, so that's something near to my heart. Also a group healing facilitator, certified Akashic record practitioner, and Reiki healing practitioner as well.
Yes, so super happy to bring all of our gifts. Again, this is just a small snapshot of the different trainings, different certifications we've done, and we're so excited to bring it all together into our coaching program.
Okay, so this masterclass is for you. Oh, this is you. I'm sorry. We have I'm like all excited.
So before we go deeper, let's talk about the class today and see how this class might be designed specifically for you. So whether you realize it or not, we all use the power of our will every day. So whether to make decisions, to take action towards a goal, but many of us, including myself, struggle with maintaining consistency, right? Who can relate to that? Maintaining consistency, right? Also, we overcome inner resistance. And, we have resistance that show up whenever we set up powerful intentions to bring our dreams into reality. So you are definitely not alone.
So if you've ever found yourself setting goals, but not following through, that's kind of a common thing. It's like let's say we set 10, we don't follow through on all of them. So even if it's a portion thereof, or you're feeling stuck in a pattern of procrastination or doubt or finding distractions, this masterclass is for you. Perhaps you have big visions for your life, but you feel like something's holding you back. This is exactly where harnessing the power of the will comes into play.
Yep. So think about it. What would it feel like to fully commit to your intentions and see real lasting progress in your life? How would that feel like?
Amazing.
Yeah, that would feel really good, right? So imagine having the inner strength, the clarity, and confidence to align your actions with your highest purpose, even when challenges arise.
Yeah. So again, just some more of why this masterclass is for you is often if you feel stuck or frustration when trying to achieve your goals.
And if that's you, please raise your hand.
Yeah. Or you get part of the way and move on to something else, or you struggle with staying consistent and following through with your intentions. Like, there is the action and the will, but like, is it in alignment with the intention? Let's raise our hand. Keep raising. You can hold them up if all these make sense to you. I see a bunch of hands coming up. You feel pulled in different directions by internal conflicts, shiny objects, distraction, distractions, self-imposed distractions. I see 3 hands up for Tess, Nova, and Eric. Okay. And you're ready to understand and cultivate your inner will to turn your intentions into not only action, purposeful action.
Yes. And so today our goal is to guide you through the process in giving you the tools to overcome resistance, to build resilience, and create meaningful change, meaningful and lasting change. That's what we're really all about, right? We're not just about quick fix, right? That you're going to turn around in 3 days and it's going to be gone, right? We really are committed to finding those tools that can, be embodied, right? And those practices that will give you the tangible results and the lasting change that you are seeking. So if any of these resonate for you, you are in the right place, my friend. Thank you for being here.
And just a little bit while we get in, before we go into our grounding and centering meditation. So if you just want to give yourself time, be ready to sit and take a few breaths together. But before that, the will is just one small aspect of transpersonal framework. And it's really invited. We're going to be bringing in some different aspects of that throughout the will. It's, throughout this class today of the will. And, some of those aspects that can pull us into those distractions. By the way, you can all put your hands down if you're, unless you're still being distracted. That's totally cool too. But we can notice those parts of ourselves that pull us into those self-sabotages or into those distractions or out of alignment with what our intention is. Just one last time, you don't have to raise your hands, but keep your hands down. If you set an intention and something that you want to do today in the beginning of the morning, and you're halfway through the day and you've forgotten what it is. Exactly. So just being able to notice what part of us gets in the way and has that forgetfulness be there.
Yes, exactly. So let's go ahead and do a branding meditation.
All right. So before we get further into this, I want to take a few moments to allow ourselves to tune in. And the way we open any transpersonal session is by tuning in. We're going to give ourselves a moment just to allow a couple percent of our central nervous system to take a breath. And the way that looks is we begin to gently close our eyes, unless you're driving and somewhere you can't do that safely. Be safe. And
if this is your moment, again, this meditation is really going to get you in the right mindset, in the right state of mind to receive the information, for that information to be received by your body. So if you can, please just put your phone away right now, bring your full attention to
this moment.
This moment.
Yeah.
And
so with our eyes closed, and notice our breath, just however it is right now. And just as you notice your breath, now begin to take a big inhale. And exhale any tension. 2 more together like that. Inhale through our nose. Exhale through our nose. And 1 more in together. Inhale. And exhale again through our nose, keeping our eyes closed. And just give yourself a second to tune in to what is your intention for this time together today. What do you hope to experience or take away from this experience today? You may have the intention of clarity, growth, and you can let this intention, whatever that intention is for you, to be your guide to come back to presence anytime that you notice the mind wandering throughout the class today. Whatever that intention is, bring it back. And deep breath in.
Now gently bring your awareness to your body and notice how your body feels in this moment. Just feel the weight of your body against the chair, the rise and fall of your breath, and just simply become aware of your body without needing to judge or change, or just simply pure awareness. Notice any sensation, any area of tension. And just breathe into whatever area of tension you find, just breathe into it. And just allow yourself to find a deeper state of relaxation. Best way you can. And so as you tune into your body, silently repeat to yourself, I have a body, but I am not my body. And just feel the truth of that statement within your body. And your body is a precious vehicle, but it does not define the whole of who you are. I have a body, but I am not my body.
And just notice now bringing your awareness to your emotions. Notice any feelings that are present, whether they're calm, joyous, anxious, anything at all, any emotion, and observe them without judgment. Just observe. And as you observe these emotions, you can repeat or speak to yourself silently, I have emotions, but I am not my emotions. Let this truth settle within you. Let your emotions flow through you. You have them, but they are not your entire identity.
And now next, shift your focus to your thoughts. Observe the thoughts running through your mind. Just notice your inner dialogue. Notice the stories that you tell yourself. And again, there's nothing to change, but to simply observe. And now repeat or speak that you feel called to. I have thoughts, but I am not my thoughts. I have a mind, but I am not my mind. And just allow that acknowledgement that your mind and your thoughts are just one part of your experience, but they are not the essence of who you are.
And now we're going to really get in there. We're going to bring our awareness to the deeper part of ourselves, the observer. This is the part of us that notices our body, our emotions, and our thoughts. This is your true self, your higher self, the part that is calm, wise, and always present. It is not swayed by passing emotions or thoughts. And now together in your own way, whether speaking out loud or silently to yourself, we repeat, I am a center of pure awareness and will. I am a center of pure awareness and will. Feeling this sense of clarity, of connection to your true self. And now bring your awareness to your heart center as you breathe into this space. And again, bringing your intention for this masterclass again into your heart. And what is your purpose for being here?
Just feel that intention radiating from your heart, feeling your entire being. And as you hold that intention, know that you are supported in this journey of growth and transformation. Just take just a few more deep breaths, feeling grounded in your intention, connected to your observer and your power of will, your center of power. And whenever you are ready, you can gently begin to come back to our class, to the area, the room that you're in, and you can wiggle your toes and open your eyes very gently. Great. How was that grounding meditation for you guys? Great. Yeah. So this is the core of psychosynthesis, right? Being able to observe, right? Not be identified with feelings, emotions, right? And then we are in this reactionary space. Let me just stop sharing this, right? Right, we're not in this reactionary space. We're actually creating some space. And we're able to identify, right? To look, right? Just kind of zoom out a little bit and get really connected to our true self, like who we really are. Because we are constantly identifying with our feelings, our thoughts, our emotions, right? And then we're acting from that place. So,
Or our body.
Or our body.
Overemphasizing body.
Yeah. And so who experienced expansion? Did you feel an expansion when you were able to observe, right? We created space. So with that grounding meditation, we are going to be we've been working with this meditation since the beginning of our masterclass, and we will continue to work with this types of meditation so that we can embody that knowledge, right? Because it's easy to have the awareness in the moment. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see it, I can observe her, but then tomorrow morning we go right back, right, into our normal state of awareness, of over-identification, over-identifying with what's not our true self.
Yeah, we can start to get pulled off center by, this is upset and this person did this to me. And can you believe the election and all the things? But that's just literally the mind, the thinking, the emotions that come. I don't know what comes first, emotion or mind. It's a debate I like to have with certain individuals on this call. I'm like, do you think first and then feel, or do you feel and then think? Whatever that may be, the fact that they are there not all the time means that they're not permanent. They're just part of the ego's construct of body, emotion, thinking. And so when we can take time throughout our morning practice or our daily practice and begin to embody the disidentification, which is what that meditation we just took you through, we could just say to ourselves, isn't that interesting? Look at how funny I am walking around all twisted up with all these emotions and thoughts and feelings and things, like, isn't that interesting? And that's the higher self. And then there's a funny thing, there's probably another higher self behind that higher self, but that's the super conscious that gets spoken about so in transpersonal coaching. So this is where that tuning in and getting all those thoughts, feelings, and emotions to just settle allows us to be present here in this moment together.
Yeah. And it helps to self-regulate your nervous system. The moment that you step back, right, and then you observe, you create that space, your nervous system can settle in, right? And then you can operate, make your choices from a center calm space.
Yeah.
All right, continuing on. So for those of you who are joining us on this masterclass for the first time, you may have heard us talk about the alchemy of self. So this masterclass today is part of a series of masterclasses that are based on the alchemy of self, which is our transformative 13-month group coaching program that we're launching in November. And so this journey is designed to help you, to guide you through a deep transformative journey of growth, emotional healing, and alignment with your true self, to help you unlock your inner power, dissolve self-sabotaging patterns, right, that are rampant, for many of us and help you to align your life with your true purpose.
Mm-hmm. And I feel it's important. This isn't actually part of our share today, but just really quickly, 2 words I'd like to create a distinction around when we speak about alchemy. Alchemy is a couple different things in this context. It's turning the mundane, la la la, life, I've got to work, I got to into the sacred, right? So turning mundane into sacred, and also transforming shadow or lead into gold, shadow into light. So bringing up the lower unconscious into the present mind, the things that are in our operating system, our iOS or whatever that other operating system is for the Androids. But it's about being able to notice that operating system that's currently running that may need to be looked at and defrag and upgrade into this new operating system, which is the true self. So the alchemy of self, capital S self, is that higher mind, the observer. So it's being able to bring the unconscious. And this masterclass is got energy work, and we're integrating different techniques. We're moving through, some also part of our alchemy of self is there's some immersive retreats we're bringing forward in this program that these master classes are just a part of, and being able to get some personalized coaching as well as the group package that's going to be happening, and some practical tools that you'll have everything you need to create the life you've always envisioned through this Alchemy of Self program.
Yep, really excited. It's a 13-month-long journey, so there will be plenty of time for awareness, integration, so you can apply into your life. So we'll share more details about the program towards the end of our class. But we just wanted to give you a little introduction about that. Okay, so our framework is based on psychosynthesis.
Yep, psychosynthesis. What is psychosynthesis? Some of you have already been on some of the master classes already, but for the benefit of those of you who haven't, and also we learn by repetition, psychosynthesis is a form of transpersonal psychology developed by Roberto Assagioli that focuses on integration of all aspects of self, the conscious, the unconscious, into a harmonious whole. And unlike traditional psychology, which often addresses the mind's fragmentation and dysfunctions,
Yes.
the psychosynthesis,
like psychotherapy.
yeah, exactly. And the psychosynthesis takes a holistic approach, aiming for self-realization, balance, and alignment with higher values.
Yep. So it's one of my favorites. So excited to have come across this incredible framework. Okay, so we're going to explore now the key psychosynthesis concepts that we're going to support you in turning your intentions into reality, that we're going to cover in today's masterclass. And the practice of psychosynthesis will help you align with your deepest purpose, and it will help you to integrate different parts of yourself and learn how to use the power of your will to direct your actions. Now, today's will focus on 3 essential concepts. Number 1 is the stages of will, disidentification. When you experience a meditation, the grounding meditation at the beginning, that was part of that concept of disidentification, and also connecting with your higher self.
And the will is often misunderstood as sheer determination and force, right? Like in today's world, like you have willpower, I've got the will to maintain my diet and all these things. But in psychosynthesis, we understand the will to be a nuanced and powerful energy that can be developed and consciously directed. So let's start by discussing how psychosynthesis views the will and how we can harness our will and turn it into these intentions into powerful actions.
Yes. So who is learning for the first time that there are 4 stages of will? Right? Most of us just think of will as one force. Well, we're going to be breaking it down, and you're going to learn what each stage of will is and how you can move and harness the power. So the first concept is that we're going to go through, right? We're going to experience is the strong will. So as Adam mentioned earlier, the strong will is that energy, right? That determination, that force,
the initial spark.
The initial spark, right? Yeah. That you put into practice when you want to get something started, right? It's that drive to get you to do something for the first time.
And then the good will is the aspect of will that ensures that our actions are aligned with ethical principles or our own principles or values and positive intentions.
Yep. And then we have the strong will, the skillful will, which allows us to choose the right means and methods to achieve our goals. This is huge. This was like a huge aha moment for me, right? So it's not just about effort, right? It's not just about brute force and I want to do it. It's about using wisdom and strategy to find the right means and methods to support your intentions.
Right. So we've got the initial spark so far. We've got alignment to check in. Is our will being in alignment with our principles and ethics? And then we have the skillful will, which is where we bring in strategy and give ourselves the things in place to be able to do the actions that we need to act. And then
we have the transpersonal will,
which
right?
is the fourth aspect.
The fourth stage of the will, and this is the alignment of your personal desires with a higher purpose, right? So this is the will that actually transcends our individual needs to serve a greater good.
Yeah, to me, the transpersonal will is really where the seeds that have been planted turns into something that is like a legacy. It keeps going on. It's for a higher purpose, for humanity, or for a greater purpose of our work or whatever that may be. It's something that's lasting, that we, it's so much greater than just the small actions that we're taking within the actual aspects of will. So the second concept that we are introducing, which we introduced a little bit in our meditation.
Introduced it in the first two master classes.
Yep, and today's meditation is disidentification. And as you pursue your goals and intentions, you'll face challenges, like we mentioned, like noticing doubts and fears and internal resistance. Disidentification is a tool that helps you observe your emotions, thoughts, and impulses. Who doesn't have any impulses around here? Without becoming overwhelmed or controlled by them.
So who would like to learn how to do that, right? Yes.
Very participatory. We're making you raise hands. Sorry for all the requests for movement. I see some of you are very comfortable tonight.
We get engaging and as engaging as we can. So yes, that's right. Disidentification, it's just really great. So as I mentioned earlier, this identification allows you to step back from your emotional and mental reactions, creating that space between you and these temporary experiences, right? Because these two shall pass. All these different states, they come and then go, right? So instead of saying, I am afraid, through this psychosynthesis framework, you learn to say, I am experiencing fear. Right. So there's a different thing. So you're not identifying as you are afraid, right? It's that's who you are. You're just acknowledging that you are experiencing fear, but that is just one aspect of your life. So this really allows you to shift and gain control, right? And clarity so that you don't just let your emotions derail you from your intentions.
Yeah, and languaging is something we're going to get into in the Alchemy of Self program, because we are programming and have been programmed with every piece of information. If I walk around and say, I am afraid, I am afraid, I am afraid, what am I? What have I identified with? So when I'm experiencing fear, that puts that fear over here. And then I can say, what part of me is experiencing fear? This is some of the stuff we really get into the nitty-gritty about in our larger class.
Yes. And then our third concept that we'll be covering today is connection with your higher self. And your higher self is a source of wisdom, purpose, and guidance within you. So on masterclass number 2, we really focused up on the higher self. So highly recommend that you go through all this series. In this particular case, for the connecting to the higher self, is masterclass number 2. And so when you align your will with your higher self, your actions are more purposeful, they're more grounded, and you have a deeper sense of meaning.
And we don't have to look back over our shoulder, because like we're aligned with our higher self, we're taking action, we're not aligned with some other aspect of self. And it's like, oh shit, I got to clean that up. Remember, I mentioned the energy earlier. So this is a really beautiful step-by-step process of the will. And many of us have a sense of disconnection from our true purpose, or struggle with staying committed to our goals, right? Because we're not aligned with our higher self. So in psychosynthesis, we practice connecting with this deeper part of ourselves. Remember, I didn't say higher part, deeper part of ourselves within ourselves, to access wisdom and guidance that helps us stay on track, even when we face obstacles.
Yep.
Jai Ganesha. Today's masterclass, we will guide you through some more exercises that'll help you connect with your higher self, and so you can harness the power of this guide of your will and in your actions every day.
Yes, every day. So excited. Okay, so now we're going to go even deeper into the first core concept of the stages of the will. So strong will, we kind of gave you a little bit of an introduction, right? So you understand that. So let's go back to the strong will, right? Which is the first stage. We talked about it being the brute force. It is that raw energy and determination that you need to initiate action, right? It's that drive that propels you forward, that gets you out of bed in the morning, and that pushes you to take the first steps. So whether you're starting a new project, pursuing a dream, or facing any challenge, the strong will is what gets you moving. And so, for example, if you set an intention to start a meditation practice daily, right? The strong will is the one that gets you out, that determination that makes you commit to waking up early, even when it feels uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. And if that's not enough, that initial, it's like, why am I meditating? That's where we come into the next couple of aspects of the will, which is like the goodwill. So this stage ensures that your actions, the action of meditating in this particular example, are aligned with ethical principles and positive intention. So it's more about, than just achieving your goals. It's about making sure those goals are in harmony with your values and contribute to the greater good. So if I'm meditating, am I a better version of myself? Not that there's better or worse. Am I a more aligned, more peaceful version of myself than when I don't? So then I can say to myself, my action of meditating aligns with goodwill because I'm also tuning into this greater aspect of who I get to be and who I am out in the world. That's the goodwill. And then asking myself the question, or ourselves the question, how does this action benefit not only myself, but also others, also the world? And using meditation as our example, goodwill is the understanding that this meditation practice is not only just benefiting us, but it's also, by reducing stress and getting us clear on what we want to do and bringing us to presence and compassion and being patient. A lot of the things that meditation creates, right? But then that version of ourselves that we can be out into the world. So there's that strong initial spark to meditate in this example, and then that connection with the good of what that is for.
Yes, and then comes the skillful will, right? So this is where strategy comes into play. This one is exciting, right? Who gets excited about strategy?
Don't threaten me with a good time. I saw you, Marcella. She almost jumped out of her seat. I knew I liked you for reasons other than just being Justin's.
Yep. So
Heart.
this is so this is the ability to choose the right methods, tools, and approaches to achieve your goals efficiently and effectively, right? This was a huge hatch moment for me, as I mentioned earlier, right? Because we just go with a strong will, and then what, right? We stop. We don't really take a moment, right, to find the methods that we need the least amount of effort for us to create or to achieve our dreams. So, for example, instead of just forcing yourself to meditate for an hour a day, right, you can use your skillful will to help you find a method that works best for you. So perhaps it's starting with a 10-minute session.
And multiple 10-minute sessions throughout
Right.
the day versus 1 hour long meditation.
That, or you can also start with 10 minutes and you can gradually increase, or maybe find a time in the day that fits best into your routine, right? So that would be useful. And that is, I know for myself, one of the main things that was a game changer for me.
Yep. I know for me, if I have the will to want to go running, I probably need to make sure I have a pair of running shoes so that when I get up to actually go running that day and I've gotten that spark of energy and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a more fit version of myself. So I'm going to be more self-confident in the world and then be a space of confidence. But if I go in the morning to do my thing and I can't find running shoes, I'm going to get all distracted and, oh my God, frustrated. And, oh, I don't have the right thing. And then excuses. And that's where those little leaky parts of ourselves can come in. So skillful will is a very, very, very important, not necessarily more or less important, but very important. And then the final stage of these 4 stages of will is the transpersonal will. And this is where we take our personal desires, what we want, what our meditation practice, our running, our job thing, the new vision we want to create, and taking action. It's where it transcends into this higher soul's greater mission. And even asking ourselves, like, we can start taking action, having a spark, but if it's not aligning to this greater mission, is that sustainable, or is it going to fall off? You know what I mean? So really giving ourselves time to ask, what is this and how can it be there? For example, with your with a sense of well-being that comes with meditation, how does that contribute to a sense of peace and presence and in the consciousness of the collective, right? So your practice becomes part of a larger mission and bring more awareness, compassion, presence to the collective. And then there's like really purposeful action behind the will.
Yep. And I can tell you that's what drives me. I feel like I'm operating in the transpersonal will, and I know my desires are going to be fulfilled, right? When I'm connected to a higher purpose, right? And I know that what I'm doing is supporting this higher purpose. I just have this like energy that it doesn't even have to come from me, right? I don't have to necessarily use my will. Of course, I still have to use it every day, but I am tapping into a larger force, right? That's already moving me in one direction. So if I can say, this has been hugely transformational for me. And also it feels good to tune into something higher of just my own needs. And so it kind of helps the ego, right? It helps to release the ego from just, again, just thinking about myself. So this particular stage of the will has been very, very powerful for myself. And so when these stages work together, and that's what we're going to be doing today, right? You'll be able to align your intentions with purposeful action. And we'll go into a process just in a few minutes where you'll be able to identify what stage that you are in. So we'll just continue guiding you through the process.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions so far? Also want to make sure that we open up.
If you have questions, just go ahead and unmute yourself and hop right in.
And then we can also take questions at the end, because we're gonna continue moving along.
We're just gonna switch to gallery view here real quick so we can see if anybody raises their hand.
Is this resonating for you guys? Are you getting value already? I want to hear it. Yeah. Amazing. Perfect. Masha Noah.
So what about when people say, oh, I didn't find the shoes? I guess it's a sign from above that I don't need to go and run today.
Well, it's not about finding the shoes, it's about having them. And skillful will actually have us put the shoes in the same place every time. I'm a stickler to, where do I put my keys? Where do I put my wallet? Where do I put my things? So I'm not running around rampant, and actually noticing which part of ourselves is choosing confusion and choosing this justification of being so ultra spiritual that everything has a reason, so we don't have to go running today, even though we've set we've aligned and we're putting these things in place. So, but yes, there's a part of that. But I mean, the skillful will would say that we're going to set ourselves up to win before ever taking action.
Yep, exactly. I love that. It's like very sneaky, right? The ways in that we create distraction, right? We create all kinds of stuff so that we don't actually have to do what we really want to do, right? We don't want to go through that step. So
yeah, I could just stare at this image all day long.
Yes,
you guys going to see the screen? You're not going to see the screen. Wait till it comes up. You're just going to be like, oh, let's just stare at this all day long.
Boom.
Boom. What this brings into mind is like when we're tapping into that transpersonal space, anybody here play music or do art or find divine inspiration in anything that allows the energy to flow through? You can just get lost in it. Sometimes it's just swiping, that can, but that creator energy, which is actually represented by the 1,000-petal lotus at the crown of our head, and like being in this quantum space where you're painting, which is what this image is like, what it is to actually create from alignment with that transpersonal self into a creation in today's life, which would have us, Masha, know where our shoes are at, because we're actually coming from divine inspiration. And so there's no more excuses.
Yep.
Busted.
Yeah. Yes, and so in a moment, we're going to guide you through a short meditation so that you can connect to your will, right? We've talked about the will as a concept, right? But we're just about to guide you through a meditation where you can actually get connected to that. We actually did a little bit of the grounding meditation. So we're going to consciously now connect to your will. And so this meditation, as I mentioned, will help you tap into your will, grounded and prepared to harness its energy for personal transformation.
So once again, my favorite thing to do is bring us, oh, hold on. Anastasia has a question before we start meditating again.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
We can.
Yeah, I had a question about the goodwill part.
Okay.
I guess I'm trying to understand the difference between strong will, goodwill, skillful will, and transpersonal
Yeah,
will.
just
I know you went into the skillful will.
yeah, we covered all of them, but like the strong will is the initial spark of like, I want to do this thing. It's what gets us motivated to do that initial thing. The
Okay.
good will is that initial action in alignment with our values and with ethics. Like, am I doing things
Okay. Okay.
good, good action? The
Mhm.
skillful will is ensuring that we align our will with, like, I don't want to promise that I can do 5 meetings a day when my day is only 8 hours long and I got to drive from Miami to, from an hour apart. Like, that wouldn't be skillful will. So it's about organizing the things we want to do into our daily life to make sure that we can do them and that we have the things that we need to do those things. Skillful will. And then transpersonal is, what is this for? What is the greater vision of what is it for my community, for my family, for the world, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, it
Okay.
does.
Very good.
Yes.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
After the meditation, we're going to go right into, again, going deeper with this. So if it'll help you to
If you didn't get it so far,
understand. If you
you'll
haven't
be
gotten so
able-
far, you'll be able to get it. So
Okay.
great.
So now, one of my favorite things to do is to bring us to our eyes closed again. And if you're able to, once again, just gently close your eyes just for a few minutes. And again, just take a deep breath again. Letting all that information just be there for a minute and allow your body to relax again. And just notice again if there's any other part of your body that has any tension at all. It could be the place between your eyebrows. Could be between your shoulder blades, your lower back. Just take a deep breath into that space. And let that tension melt away. As you once again feel your body settling into your breath, imagine in your mind's eye and in your body if you can feel roots growing out from the base of your spine and the soles of your feet. Roots so rich and soft, crawling down into the earth, connecting with the earth and bringing a sense right now of stability and strength.
And as you breathe and feel the energy of the earth rising up through your roots and into your body. So bring the energy from the earth up into your body. This is grounding energy. And this is an important foundation that allows your will to grow strong and focused. So just allow that energy to flow through your feet, up your legs, and into your torso, and all the way to your heart.
Now bring your attention to your solar plexus, your belly. You can put both hands on your belly if you want. Feel a little warming in your tummy. This solar plexus area is your center of will. It's a space where your inner power resides. With each deep breath in, take a deep breath in and feel your belly expand. Imagining it filling up with a golden light, glowing bright in your solar plexus in your belly. And with each inhale, just imagine more of that golden light coming and filling up your belly and your center of will. Inhale.
Yeah, you can visualize a sun, the brightest, most radiant sun on your solar plexus. It's a great way to activate your power, your center power. And just feel the golden light growing stronger and stronger. Just feel that sun, just see that sun radiating with golden bright light. And it's grounding you in your purpose and in your power. Right? This is your will. The part of you that is capable of making conscious choices that can guide your actions and that aligns you with your highest potential. So just see this light continue to grow. And now bring to your mind something you wish to achieve in this moment. Bring an intention that you've set for yourself. It could be a goal, it could be a transformation that you're seeking. It could be a shift in your life. And so hold this intention in your mind and see it clearly.
And as we bring that truly deep thing that matters to us most right now to create into our belly, into that solar plexus will energy, visualize yourself now with this golden intention, taking the first step into creating this intention. And feel the strength and clarity that comes with aligning your will to this goal. This goals come to mind, it's in your belly, you're taking a step. Know that you have the power to make conscious choices and take action that will bring this intention into reality. And if and when you encounter any resistance, whether it's fears or doubts or uncertainty, simply acknowledge it. Taking a step, noticing any fears, just acknowledge it without judgment. And allow the energy of your will, this brilliant sun, to hold steady like a lighthouse guiding you through the storm. You are grounded and you have the inner strength to navigate any challenge.
And now imagine that golden light of your will extending beyond you, just illuminating the path ahead. And see yourself taking each step with confidence and determination. Fully aligned with your inner purpose. So taking a moment to feel this sense of empowerment and connection to your will. You are grounded, you are strong, and you are capable of turning your intentions into reality.
As we feel what that feels like, just begin to bring this meditation to a close with one last deep breath. Filling yourself with this powerful energy of the will. As you exhale, bring gently your awareness back into the room. Once again, wiggling your fingers and your toes, maybe wrinkling your nose, and gently open your eyes. So carry this connection to your will with you as you continue in today's class. You know, that sun that's illuminating the path in front of you, that choice. And you have the power within you to align with your highest purpose and take action towards your goals.
Yes, you can. So how did that feel for you guys? Did you get connected to your will? Yes. Do you feel a sense of empowerment? Right? You feel like you can take on your intentions, whatever that came to mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what do you feel about, did you raise your hand if you found value of noticing like, okay, we have this sun in our belly and we've illuminated our path, we're taking this step, but here comes a thought, here comes a little, and being able to just observe it without judgment and say, okay, thank you. And just keep moving forward, right?
Yep. And then further in the class, we're going to learn how to overcome that internal resistance, right? That shows up whenever you decide to take action in your dreams. Lisa, did you have a question or that was?
She was just
no?
raising her
Okay,
hand to
cool.
acknowledge.
Awesome.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Lisa Renee.
For participating. All righty. So we're going to identify your current stage of will, wherever you're at, right? So we've explored different stages of will. We've connected to our center, our power, our power center, the center of will, right? And so now it's time to apply this understanding to your own life, right? So we'll guide you through reflection exercise to help you identify where you currently stand in relation to your goals and intentions. So think of a goal, right? Maybe it's a goal that already came to your awareness, but take time right now to just bring to your awareness again an intention or a goal that you have set for yourself recently, right? Something that you are currently working towards or that you would like to manifest, right? This could be personal, it could be growth, it could be career advancement, it could be relational, or it could be a spiritual goal. So raise your hand when you have your goal and your intention in your mind already.
Yeah, it can be something that you're already doing or something that you want to do because you could be on your steps on the way there or not yet started.
Okay, perfect. Everybody has theirs?
Cool.
Great. Is there anybody that doesn't have theirs? Okay, cool. All right, so first stage. Are you at the strong will stage, right? Which is basically where you're gathering the energy and determination to start. Right? Do you feel that initial burst of motivation, but you aren't quite sure where to go from there? Right? This is the beginning phase where the drive and the motivation are present, but the direction or strategy may not yet be clear. Right? So strong will is about finding that inner force to move forward, but this is only the first step. So raise your hand if that's where you're at and your intention. No? Okay, awesome. Guys are advanced. You're an advanced group. Okay, Tesnova and Eric, great, thank you. Awesome. All right, so next stage.
Yeah, if you're not in that strong will, like maybe you already have the motivation, you've already started, or maybe you haven't yet brought that motivation forward and started yet, there's a good way to sort of check in and say, okay, I've started my thing, I've started taking action, or I haven't yet taken action, but is this in alignment with the goodwill? So if you're focusing on goodwill as a second stage, you'll aligning your goals and your goals, nothing else to say there, with your core values and positive intentions. So are you about like making sure your actions not only benefit you personally, but also are ethical and for the greater good? I like to say, are we checking in with our shareholders, whether we have an office space or our beloved? I'm going to go do this thing, but am I checking in with all the aspects of my life to see that this is in alignment with that? And goodwill ensures that your goals are in harmony with your moral principles, ensuring that your striving serves you and others positively. It's also about making sure your intentions are aligned with what you stand for, your values.
Yeah. So who's at this stage?
Who's
And
in the goodwill
maybe you
stage?
didn't know, right? Maybe you're learning, right? So you don't know what stage you're in yet because this is something new.
Mhm.
So this is now you have this awareness, right? Okay, Christian is there. Amazing. Great.
Sean
Sean,
is there, yeah.
right?
And this is a good way also as a compass when we start taking action to be like, wait a minute, is this in alignment with my values and my principles? Am I just saying yes and taking actions and things that don't necessarily align with what my values and principles? Do I even know what my values and principles are? Have I ever asked myself the question, what are my principles? So it's a great, really deep, every one of these little bullet points or parts of the will, which is just one tiny aspect of transpersonal, is a good space to check in, to make sure that the actions we're taking with that strong will are in alignment with our true self, right?
Yep, exactly. And the goodwill ensures that when you do check in with your values, right, that there's going to be satisfaction on the other side of achieving that goal, right? That there's not going to be resentment, right? Because you're not doing things that are against your truth.
Right.
And so this is a very important one when you choose to live your life more consciously, to make sure that you are doing that check-in. So it's not just about, right, having intentions and goals. It's really about doing the check-in. And so if you're good here, you check off, then you can move on to the next stage.
Skillful will.
Skillful will. This is one of my favorites. And so perhaps you are here. Perhaps you're at the skillful will stage, right? Where you are refining your strategies and methods to achieve your goal. Perhaps you didn't even know that this was an option, right? Perhaps you were just going with that initial force. So in this particular stage, this is a stage about practicality and precision, right? Finding the most effective and efficient way to move towards your goals, right? I know, Masha, you're going to be all over that. You're all about efficiency. Yes, yes, yes. 100%, right? So you've already taken action in your goals, but now it's a time to refine your methods to ensure success.
Yep.
Which one?
In many ways, I just want to share a little aside here. Teams. I know Masha, her hand went up, and it's what actually triggered because I got to see a talk. We got to see a talk that Masha did recently, but it's about teams. Like perhaps the skillful will isn't actually doing it all ourselves. The skillful will could actually be like putting a team together and actually say, okay, you're really good at marketing and you're really good at connecting with people and enrollment, and you're really good at this and that and the other thing. And that is a very powerful aspect. So there's that initial spark. It's in alignment with true self. And now what do I get to do to make sure that also the skills that I'm doing are in alignment with, I need time to fill my own cup, I need time to rest and all the things, and not do it ourselves.
Yep, 100%.
Claudia, did you have something that you wanted to share, or did you?
No, I think
okay,
she aligns with this. Yes.
yes.
I saw that. I see you. I see you.
All right.
Amazing. Okay, and then our final stage
Is the transpersonal will. And so here's some reflection questions. Maybe you're connecting with your transpersonal will. If you've got skills in place, you've checked in, you're like, it feels really good. It's supporting people. I've got this like motivation, but what is the greater picture of what this is all for? So is your goal aligned with your soul's mission or higher calling? Do we even know what our soul's mission or higher calling is? If you don't, stay tuned till the end of the class. There'll be a time for you to sign up and learn how to find out. So, at this stage, you're aligning with your will with a sense of greater purpose or universal good. I like to say sustainability, because it's not like, next. It's like, no, this is actually a much larger what for. And it's like, there's something that's like, some people say, like, I don't even need to sleep anymore, and connecting with this personal desire to a higher calling, something that transcends individual ego gain.
Yep, exactly. Now more and more people are waking up to this realization, right? We're as humanity, we are evolving, we are advancing, and so we are moving towards this higher understanding. And this is why I know you do as well, but I personally love transpersonal psychology because, again, you're working with these higher forces that, already have this whole universe in motion. So it brings a sense of ease right into my life. It brings a sense of peace that I am it's not just about my own needs. And this is the fire, right? Like we've looked at our calendars. Our plates are pretty full, but it's all in alignment with higher calling. So it's just like the energy just keeps showing up, every day. I'm so excited, right, to bring this class together and to do the group together, because all of this is aligning with my soul's mission, right? Which is, at the end of the day, when my life ends, I know that I at least attempted to the best of my ability to fulfill my mission, right? And each of us, each of you have your own personal soul's mission, right? And your higher calling, that it goes beyond what society tells us to do, that it goes beyond, right, what we've been brainwashed, right? There's so much. So thank you for being here, because that means that you are already, right, in this higher, state of awareness. And then we are collectively working together towards a better world together.
Yeah. So imagine, there's 26 of us, I think, that I count. I don't know if I counted Read AI as one of the people, but let's say there's 26 of us. Imagine what it is to be walking down the road and you're passing by 26 individuals that are in alignment with they're in on purpose. They're living on purpose. They've checked in that this is for the benefit of not only themselves, it's actually, bringing value. They're doing so in a way that is skillful, so they're not stressed out all over the place. So they're like operating from a place of peace, and they're connected to a higher purpose. And we have 26 of us in the room. How would that feel? Just you're talking about like the nervous system and feeling safe, like when people actually can give ourselves time to be like, wow, you're on purpose and you're in alignment with something greater than you, and you're doing something that's benefiting the world. And we're all doing that together. Like, that's what's up, because it just feels like, I personally feel safety, excitement, and like, yes, we get to lift each other up in that. So this is really like what Claudia was speaking into, about like, there's enough separation in the world, but when we can actually be the demonstration of going through these acts of will and taking action in alignment with ourselves to the greater good, what that can actually do for our collective 8 billion people on this earth. 8 billion divided by 26, we got some work to do, but it starts here. And again, to echo what Claudia said, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so now we'd like to invite you to write down your reflections. So this could be a time to pull up your journal, piece of paper, your phone, whatever you may have handy. And I want you to consider, right, which stage of the wheel you're currently operating from. So is there a stage that feels weaker or that needs more attention? So make sure that you write that down. And then, how can you consciously move to the next stage to bring your goal closer to reality?
Some of these reflections can be, I'm clear on my goal, or I'm not clear on my goal. And if you are, then what, have I asked myself questions to really check in? Does this goal and my actions that I'm going to take, my willpower, my steps, my next steps, in alignment with, goodwill, right? And what do you need to do to cultivate that next step? Maybe it's just asking some questions about, what is this for?
Yep, so this exercise is about helping you identify where you're at, and then identify the next steps to help you to move forward.
And a lot of the time I find myself, this may bring true for you, oscillating between skillful will and transpersonal will. Because it's like, okay, there's this fire, there's a yes, I want to do this. I know it's good because I trust my contacts. I'm not going to do anything to harm anyone. So that's pretty good. Pretty much true for everybody on this call, if you're here. And then, okay, now I'm in this skillful will place, but I oscillate between like transpersonal and skillful because I want to connect to this higher purpose. But yet there's some things I need to put in place. Like, oh, I got to download this new program. I got to get a planner. I've got to reach out and build my team. But ultimately, what I find is like, in alignment with that transpersonal self, that higher consciousness, that bigger why, then it really is about those skills, because there's a lot of stuff in the 3D here that we get to consistently lean on each other. I got to have a call with somebody and run this by them. That would be a skillful will. You know what I mean? So we can kind of move in between these parts of will. But once that fire is, and so, well, let me back up. Sometimes the fire gets a little bit, needs another log on the fire. We get tired. You know, we find maybe some limiting beliefs that come up along the way, and that's where the disidentification can reignite and connecting into, I'm doing this for something greater than me. You know, it allows those, you know, it's too much, or why are you doing this when you could be doing that? And all these other thoughts that start to come in that are having conversations with themselves, to zoom out and say, what is this for? Why am I doing this?
Yep, exactly. So we'd like to open up for some sharing. We'd love to hear where some of you are at in regards to the will.
Yeah,
So
what stage of will you're in.
you're in. So whenever you're ready, you can just unmute yourself, jump in.
Or even if you don't have clarity, if you want to share, like, I'm not really clear, you know, and, you know, happy to have a chat. Tasnova and or Eric.
Yep.
It's me, Tasnova. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this call. I feel like I'm experiencing confusion. So I wrote down, it seems like I'm in the strong will stage, and the goal is about being a doula. It's been an on and off goal. I get cold feet, sometimes think it's not my thing, and then I come back around to like, no, I do feel like there's a purpose for me to do this. And then I'm like, but I don't want to do it forever, so should I do it at all, and all that stuff. But so are we, if I'm saying that I'm in the strong will stage, does that mean that is where my journaling will be happening from? Like what the next stage from that is?
Yep, exactly. So you identify where you're at, right? You're in the strong will stage. And so then you're doing your check-in with your goodwill, which I feel like, you know, because you've been in a conscious path, right? It's aligned. And so you can do that checking, right? Does being a doula align with your values? And I'll ask you, are you clear about your values? Have you done the value exercise?
I know I've done it, but I'm not able to recall it right away, so I wouldn't say I'm not clear. But I know in my heart I'm getting like clear on the words.
Right. Yeah, but I feel like we did that work in our second masterclass, and
yeah, right.
Yeah, great. So then it would be about, okay, you're here, you do a check, you know, you check off that you know, it does align with your values, and you can, you know, maybe revisit to see if you know, have those values clear, right? To make sure that the goal of doula, right? Because you're having some internal resistance. So, but if you check in and you're like, you know what? Yes, this actually does align with my values. So that keeps moving it forward, right? So you don't just get stuck in, I want to do this, but then what?
Yeah. And to that point, if this supports you, like if your values are, or let's say if I have a value of connection and self-care and, you know, recreation and time to meditate and time to play music and things like this, when I start asking, I got that fire, there's this desire, I want to be a doula. Can I be a doula and still align with all those different things that I just listed off? Connection, presence, time to, you know, if it's like, okay, I can fit that in. Then you can say, yes, that aligns with these values. It's not going to take away from any of my values by me going into service in this way. And then the skillful will is like, it kind of can go back and forth between those two phases, or two of going into skillful, like, what do I need to learn to be a doula? How long does it take to be a doula? What does it cost to learn how to be a doula? And does, you know, what do I need? Do I need a computer? Do I need doula clothing? Do I need to connect with somebody who does this training? And then, you know, because we don't want to say yes to something that's actually going to maybe take away our time from connection, which is so important, as our value. And then it's just a no.
And sometimes they can be temporary, right? Like sometimes the doula training is only going to be a certain amount of time. So, you know, you may not be able to have, I don't know how intensive a doula training is, right? But, you know, if it aligns with your values, you're choosing the methods that work with you. Again, I don't, you know, I'm imagining might be a combination of online or in person, you know, right? So you're choosing a program that you're excited about, that you can do, that it fits your criteria. So that's a skillful will. And then the last one is, does that just being a doula align with your higher purpose, with your soul's mission on the earth?
Right.
And so I'll ask you right now, does being a doula align with your soul's mission on the earth?
Yeah, it feels like this is where my mind gets caught up, because I know it's the qualities that I'm working on enhancing. Like being a doula will have me really step into that and support whatever future endeavors come after that. So it just feels like important. And it's still scary. There's like I'm like, whoa, that's gonna be a very intense thing. The scheduling would be like on call all the time, you know, and depending on the birthing schedule and stuff like that. So I think you're right. I like, now that the values is becoming clear, I see that like maybe there's like unknown, you know, like what values it would take me away from being on call all the time, but it might be no problem. I just don't know, and it's like in the unknown.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then noticing like the disidentification, being able to observe, oh, there's this part of me that has fear around, if I do this, this will happen. Or I don't, maybe the fears around the unknown. So that's where that resistance and being able to really zoom out and observe and be like, wow, look at that part of myself that is making it about I don't know how, but is really where those fears are coming from, and being able to meet that part of ourselves and be like, this is really my highest self, but there's these parts of myself that's still holding me, keeping me safe, because I don't want to be up here in this bigger purpose, because I have this unknown and I need to tend to those parts of myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Next session, we're actually going to go over the strategies to overcome internal resistance, so we can go a little deeper about that. But something that's coming up for me is speaking to another doula, right? And then checking in to see like, hey, how being a doula, is that, you know, are you able to manage, you know, the odd times, right? Whenever that comes, because it's something that's you don't have control over.
Yeah.
And just get their feedback from somebody who has already done it. And then it'll help you to get clear, right? Like, okay, perhaps, you know, there's going to be sometimes, right? There will be, I'm sure, some, I don't want to say discomfort, but you'll move through that, especially if you can connect, right? Make sure that that's aligned with your soul's purpose. You'll find the drive and the energy to overcome whatever the job actually entails.
Thank you so much. That resonates so much. Thank you.
Marcella and Justin or Justin.
Hi, everybody. So I feel that I am in the, I guess, between the skillful and transpersonal will. Because I feel that I have my strategies already and I've been making the move. And I was part of a Aurora event, which really broke me free, liberated me from my self-doubt and limitations. Thank you, Claudia. And so putting that aside has really made me like pedal to the metal. I don't know if that's the way you say it, but like flooring it in a car and like I'm on and I'm going like steadily, and it feels so good. It's really rewarding and I feel super fulfilled and happy. So some of the things there's two. So I love network facilitating, connecting people to opportunities. And I also love organizing, cleaning, decluttering, helping people in their home and space to get rid of things that are not necessary and give them like a harmonious space to be in that feels chaos free. So with both of those, I created a title for my business called Curated Spaces. And so at the moment, like where the question, which was really, is your goal aligned with your soul mission and higher calling? So astrologically, I'm a Gemini, and when I read up on my astrology, my sense of purpose in life is to help others reach their goals. Like
Mm.
for me, I get a sense of purpose when I'm helping others find like their mission, like accomplish their mission in their life's purpose. So
Mhm.
like being a network facilitator to me is almost like working today. I was reached out by somebody and they wanted my help, and I said, sure, I'd love to help you. What way? She started mentioning a few things, and I'm like, I gotcha. Here's this person. If you want to be a teacher, they're looking to hire somebody right now. And she goes, oh, and I also need this. And I'm like, I gotcha. Go ahead and call this person for that. So it's like, it just puts like a big automatic smile in my face. It makes me feel so happy that I can like help someone find their like special niche. And then when I see them reach their goal and get to their fullest potential of their career or their successes and or meet their goals, it makes me just like firecracker, like a like fireworks. So yeah, so that's where I am. I don't know, like I just feel happy like where I'm at right now, and I get really excited and just working now on networking and putting together a group of women to empower and inspire them along with Claudia. And yeah, I couldn't be more happier. I feel really, really successful right now. What I'm looking for is financial stability and consistency. So that's like what I need. Like if somebody's like, well, what is it that you need now that you know what you have as your basis, as your career? I want that financial stability and consistency to feel secure. But I'm
Right.
happy and I feel fulfilled with my life, my current life's purpose. That could always change. There's always room for new avenues to careers changes because I got other skills under my tool belt, but at the moment these two are are satisfying my soul.
Nice, nice. I'm going to take this one on and say thank you for your share first and foremost, and like to feel that energy of that transpersonal flow coming through you. And then I heard you say about financial. So you're saying you're oscillating between, well, you didn't use the word oscillating, but between skillful will and transpersonal will, right? And then I heard
Mhm.
go into the conversation about what I need is, or where I'm at is this consistency and financial, security around this mission, right? This is just one of your many missions, I'm sure. You're a mom,
Yeah.
you're a wife, all the things, right? And each one of these things have will, and they're each one of them are connected with different energy centers. But a skillful will, I could ask you in a session, not necessarily now, but to ask yourself the question, like, do I know what financial stability looks like? What does that mean in my regular earnings? And then if I need to hit this much monthly, annually, weekly, whatever that might be,
Mhm.
and I know what the marketplace is, do I need to market myself higher or lower in a price point, and to how many people in order to hit that financial stability? So that would be
Okay.
that would be skillful will in your stages there, because and that's what I mean by, like I mentioned earlier about oscillating between, because it's like, yay, we're doing this divine inspiration. Oh shit, I'm broke. So it's like, wait, I need 20 clients at this much per month, and then I'm good, and I just need to maintain and nurture those 20 clients. But if I don't know how many clients and what my price point is, it can actually trigger these inner resistances and things, because it's like, I'm doing this thing that feels so good and I'm so successfully happy, and I get to also generate over here, and I'm wearing these multiple hats to make the ends meet, because I haven't asked myself the question of how many and how much.
Okay.
Yep. Skillful will.
Skillful will.
And then taking it a deeper layer, right? So not just finding out what you need, how many clients, it's also finding the ways that you can gain those clients that are most efficient
And aligned.
and effective
Yeah.
and aligned.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
Right.
like you keep, or, and it's like really giving yourself the time when you have an intention to just break it down and really like zoom in, laser focused in the precise strategy that works the best for Marcella, based on your personality, right? Based on maybe your pool of contacts you already have, right? So you want to give yourself the opportunity to take all those things into account before you define your plan of action. right? So then when you're ready to go, it's like, you already know that you're taking the most potent action, most aligned action that you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank
I'm so
you.
excited for you. You
Yeah.
know, I can wait to see that, business thrive. And, we haven't experienced your services, but I would love, to experience more of you. And what I've experienced of you already, it's been amazing. So excited for you.
And there's a great opportunity to notice when, like, some of those harder questions,
Mm-hmm.
are spiritually inclined individuals who just love to give, and it brings us a sense of purpose to see other people thrive.
Yeah.
I say, how many clients do you need? And you need to raise this many clients and all this marketing, and you got to charge them this much. If it can bring up stuff, and that's where the transpersonal framework of like, wait, I got to charge how much? Because there could be a little part of self of like, self-worth comes up. Is my value, do I need to over deliver? And that's where those different resistances come up that can drop us back in and be like, okay, what is this for? This is in alignment with myself, and I'm willing to, in Skillful, will also get a coach that can help me move through this, or can, and move through these parts of self that are like, oh shit, I don't know if I can actually get that many clients. Is there many that because there's abundance, right, in the content, but there's still those parts of ourselves that start to come in.
Yeah, great work. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, you're welcome.
Dream, peace, and something else. I can't see what else it said there.
Oh, namaste.
Namaste.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Thank you for
Love
your
you
shares.
guys. Thank you for being here.
All right, Brother Adam, are you able to come into the frame a little more? I've been seeing half your face. I'm sure. Yes, there you are. I feel like I've been trying to like
I
look
see
around
my,
the
I
corner.
see my whole self on our side, but there we go.
There you go.
Now Claudia is out. So, well, I
Okay.
guess we'll just.
I
Okay.
think it's just you're in a
There
little
we go.
frame. There we go.
Perfect. Thank you.
I can see your phone.
Get a little closer.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. This has been so awesome. Resonate with pretty much. So I'm definitely in the Skillful will right now because I'm working on my programs, and yeah, I'm really just trying to figure it out. I'm putting together, well, I should say I'm part of a retreat. My brother Justin White is putting it all together, and I've been very grateful that he's been taking like the lead on all of it. So I'm learning so much about the ins and outs and how much goes with putting together a retreat. So I know what you guys have been through because I'm going through it right now. It's quite humbling. But just finding the flow, right? Like finding the strategies of how to get past the, oh, I'm not good at social media. I'm not good at, and I'm like, I've already done like 15 posts this month, and it's like not that bad at all.
Yeah.
So to answer the question, like for my strong will to strengthen, to remain consistent, because that's one thing. It's like, oh, go one wheel and go one wheel and go one wheel, and like it's easy for me to find a way to like just go be by myself, right?
Escape the duties.
Right. And so something that I could do is I could set small, reachable goals to create a momentum that is sustainable so that I have the momentum organically continue to expand. Because it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do, like, you use the example, like sitting down for an hour each day to meditate. And like I could do that personally, but as far as like with my setting the programs and the marketing and the strategies and reaching out and all of that, like just doing a little something each day, because then that becomes normal. It's and then the next thing, and then there's more that comes and more that comes and more, and it just becomes easier and easier. So for me, it's the, I think the consistency and just setting those little goals, because I like to just dive in. Like with my work, I like to just like go 0 to 100. Like let's just go deep. And
Yeah,
but
who
what's
else?
say again?
Well, yeah,
Who else?
we all
resonate
love
with that?
immediate gratification.
Everybody's like on board there. But with other things, it's like, yeah, and we dive in, and then okay, the water's a little too cold. Let me take a step back a little bit, and then losing the momentum. So, going through all of this and this process, it was really cool to see where I'm at, and then also to realize like, okay, yeah, I need to be more gentle on myself. And
Yep,
yeah.
exactly. That's exactly. And it's about movement, right? It's not just about like achieving right away, but we definitely want to get the momentum and the movement going towards our goals.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you feel good about yourself. You're like, oh my God, I achieved this, right? Then you are coming from empowerment. Yeah, there you go. And that feeds you, that fuels you to continue to take the next step.
Yep.
So yeah, you nailed it. Great work.
And once again, getting into that like strategy aspect of things, could actually say, if I've got this long to do this thing, and if I take this step each day over this period of time, that's the amount of action, hours per day that I get to spend doing that. And then I can go one wheel once I get that done. And, one wheel being a one wheel device that you ride on, for those of you who aren't sure on what that is. But like, so it's like, I love what you shared there about, the keeping the strong will going, because so many men that I work with, and I've used it, some people here, it's like, we want to climb the mountain, but like we just want to be at the top of the mountain already. I want to go to the 100 already. But from here to there, there's 1,000 steps to get there. And if it's just one step every 10 seconds in a period of time, we're going to reach the top of that mountain. And then not camp out at the top of the mountain, but realize, oh, now there's another mountain. And we just keep those steps, and that momentum that keeps coming is like, there is a strong will, and the strong will therein becomes embodied, versus like, oh, the water's too cold or too deep, I'm not even gonna start. And then there's actually like a little bit of a self-sabotaging little part of self that comes in and finds these distractions. Not to say that that's what you're doing, but that happens for me personally. If I can't already be at that ultimate goal, like, why even start? I'm just going to do what's easy. And so just noticing one step at a time. I think you nailed it.
You nailed it.
Justin.
Every time you do that, every time you actually achieve that one next step, you're reinforcing your strong will.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
stronger and stronger, and it becomes larger and larger, and then you can actually start taking larger actions.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here and for those
Totally.
amazing shares and questions. All right, we'll take a last share and then we'll continue moving on.
Deborah, Mom Deborah.
Yes, I am the mom. For those who don't know, I am honored and humbled to have given birth to that amazing man, Adam Passetti. And Justin, love the Yoda shirt, and you look just like my little brother. That's like I had to zoom you. It was like, he looks like Kevin. This is so cool. So yeah, I'm the mom, but I'm not a typical mom. So Marcella and Justin, both of you guys rang really deeply with where I'm at with this. Skillful, gathering the tools, time to look at what my coaching will look like. I'm in school to be a health coach, health, cooking, kitchen, and more than just that day to day, the bigger picture, the spiritual part of it has spoken to me since my mom ran me off in the kitchen and let me chop salad or squeeze meatloaf, little those beginner mom, cooking things your mom would let you do, or her grandmother in whatever case. So I've stepped up from some of that nutritionally, but in school, and it's time now. I'm halfway through. I had to pass 2 of 4 tests, patting myself on the back. The minimum of 70. I got a 96 today. So I accomplished, that was my goal, take my test, smoked my test because I'm so smart. But to put together, like, what is Deborah's coaching look like? What are my offerings? The valuing it. What do my clients, and part of the school is to encourage you to, to look at that. What is your niche? What do your clients look like? And those kind of things. And that's been supportive. And yet, does it align? Is it transpersonal and aligns with my values and my purpose in this life and for the world? 1,000,000%. To be able to give this gift, offer this gift in my own, in the way Mama Deborah, Wise Lioness Rising, is going to build that. But the building blocks, I'm good at design, but construction isn't necessarily my gift.
Mhm.
Adam, Claudia, you know, I was doing multiple kind of hats, if you will. I let that more 3D hat go, and it was really easy to do. It was like, thank you all for this. I'm moving on, you know, have a nice life with no
Getting clear.
energy.
You're getting clear,
So,
right?
Just a little
yeah,
bit of
oh yeah, I'm super clear on that.
precautionary light that a candle I want to light in the room. We get to be mindful, and this is we're not going to get into this too much because we have some other things to share, but like
Got
what
it.
there is, what Marcella shared, what Justin shared, like we can camp out in the skillful will place, and almost it can get us stuck at times. So really
Yep.
getting clear on, you know, what does this need to be to align into the lifestyle that I want, my values. So what does the coaching get to look like? Meaning how many clients and how much and when,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? That align with the values. So then you can even know, okay, I've got to like, you know, there's some coaches out there that charge like $100,000 a year for a client. And if you had 4 of those, like, you know, that would probably check a lot of boxes, right? You know, for most people on this call, you'd be like, oh, that's pretty freaking awesome. I want that. I don't know if that's true. I think imagine for a moment, but like getting caught up in that skill, well, I need this and how do I this and how do I that? It's almost like that's where the paralysis starts to come in.
Yep.
I got this
Yep.
fire and I've checked in it. It's really good, but I'm stuck, you know, and
Yep.
it's like asking different questions, right? And maybe not too many questions at once, but
Yep.
just one thing and then taking action and one thing and then taking action, because we can get lost
Yeah.
in strategy.
Yeah, that lands. I'm not feeling stuck. I am in my moments of enthusiasm and excitement, trying to eat the whole elephant at a time, and I only need to take one bite at a time.
Yep.
If it needs to be vegan, pretend I said a vegan elephant for those who
absolutely.
are
You don't
plant
need-
savvy. But yeah, so yes, true. So it's just I'm in that space. It's time to create that. So I don't feel like I've been needing to create this and nothing's happening. So I'm
Yep.
feeling the invitation in the just simply in the discussion this evening is perfect timing and synchronicity for me. So
Okay.
thank you.
Congratulations on taking your test. I mean, it's
Yeah.
actually like one big thing a day that gets accomplished is something
Yep.
that gets accomplished. It doesn't have to be
Exactly.
10 things, and noticing the parts of ourselves that need to accomplish 10 things, or what does that make up about ourselves, and
Yep.
just observing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's way past having to be perfect.
Yeah,
Trust
exactly.
me.
Exactly. Well, amazing. Thank you so much for all those who share, right? We really learn when we can hear from each other and see where everybody's at.
Mhm.
And yeah, and so I heard Justin actually touched upon this. So we're going to go continuing on, and we're going to go through strategies to overcome internal resistance, right? Because this is what stops us. And so resistance can show up in many different forms, right? It can be procrastination, it could be self-doubt, it could be fear of failure, it could be the fear of success. That's actually one that I deal with. It's very deep, right? And so, you know, we often think of resistance as something negative, right? Something that we want to avoid. But in reality, it's actually a valuable signal, right? So it shows us that there is something deeper within us that needs to be addressed and understood, right? So most of us relate to resistance as like, okay, I don't want it. We're pushing it away. We don't want to know about it, right? But one of the strategies is actually to try to understand, like, what is this resistance showing up, right? And so resistance often stems from sub-personalities. We've talked about sub-personalities in the first 2 masterclasses. So sub-personalities are essentially those aspects of ourselves, those part of ourselves that we have created as a result of you know, just survival since we were young, right? Different sub-personalities that we've created. And so those sub-personalities may be in conflict, right? And may have conflicting desires, right? And so then resistance shows up, right? So there are some parts that could be trying to protect you from discomfort, from failure, from vulnerability. So for example, and Adam touched upon this a little bit earlier, the perfectionist, right? So, you know, you might fear making a mistake, right? But perhaps the wounded child, right, might want to avoid pain,
Mhm.
right? Like the possibility of that. So recognizing, right, which part of you is that resistance coming from is the key to overcoming it.
Mhm. Exactly. And when we ignore or fight resistance, there's actually, we're missing an opportunity to explore what's really going on inside. And the key to work with this is to work with the resistance and not against it. What we resist persists. So if we're resisting resistance, we're just going to keep resisting with resistance. Does that make sense? That's a good t-shirt. I should write that down. This process of aligning conflicting parts of ourselves with our higher goals is the heart of psychosynthesis. Those parts of ourselves that are ultimately pulling us out of alignment with our true north, I like to say. One powerful way to do this is by dialoguing with these parts of our resistant selves. We don't really want to do that on your own, but this is something that we get into in the transpersonal, framework.
Yep. So tool number 1 is
Dialoguing
with your resistance.
Yep. So you begin gently asking this resistant part of yourself, like if it's the afraid little one or the perfectionist or the one that's afraid of success, like Claudia mentioned, what are you afraid of? And why are you holding back? And you'll be really amazed to see what comes out the other side of that. So once you've identified the fear, oh, wow, what are you afraid of? And then that answer comes up. Ask, how can I reassure you that this goal or this act of will is safe for you?
Yep. And so it's important to recognize that resistance is not your enemy, right? It's simply a part of you that wants to be heard. So this is huge, right? This is one of the main things that actually helps us get stuck because we are avoiding it, resisting it. But no, actually welcome it and understand that it's just a part of you that just wants to be heard.
So this opens up communication between your conscious intentions and your unconscious fears. That's where the alchemization comes together,
Your
right?
shadow self.
Your shadow and what might be holding us back. And I will say that there's no reason to avoid having these conversations. Remember, we're talking about the operating system. If these fears are present with any will that we're taking in life, they're probably present everywhere.
Yeah.
And those parts of ourselves that are really trying to just keep us safe, could be mom's voice, don't do that or you're going to get hurt. That still becomes a belief, and that we're like perpetuating that belief into our life that's holding us back from the greatness that is our birthright.
Yep.
Being able to hold those parts of ourselves and be like, it's okay, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. And so in the Alchemy of Self, we're going to be diving this. We're dedicating a whole month to our sub-personalities so that you'll be able to identify each sub-personality, find out which ones are in conflict with each other, and then create dialogues, right? Dialogue with each part of yourself so that you can just simply give it what it needs. As you know, it's just wanting your attention. Tool number 2, visualization to reframe resistance, right? So another powerful way is to use visualization, right? To allow that technique so that you can communicate to your subconscious mind and work with your conscious mind and show your subconscious mind that there is another possibility, right? And that possibility is one that the possibility of success is achievable and safe. So this one is also huge, right? So right now, just quickly, just close your eyes and just imagine yourself. Just imagine that goal, right? That you brought to your awareness. Right? Bring that goal to your mind. And so now imagine yourself having already succeeded in your goal. So picture that moment when you achieve it and feel the emotions, see the surroundings, and visualize every detail as vividly as possible. Right? So what you're doing is you're creating a mental image, right, of your success, and you're telling your subconscious mind, right, that is not only possible to achieve your goal and to reach your goal, but it can be done with clarity and confidence. Right? So visually, you can open your eyes if you're still closed. So it really helps you to shift your internal narrative. And this one is huge. Most of the time, the reason why intentions don't come to reality, right, is the internal resistance, right, that shows up. But it's also because we're only working with our conscious mind. Like, okay, I'm going to do this. And we are not taking the time to work with our subconscious mind, which is really the one, right, that's where all the beliefs that live right inside of us, that we've basically learned from throughout our life. And so when you see yourself repeatedly succeeding, you are essentially rewiring your brain to expect success rather than failure, right? Because that's really what stops us. Most of us, it's like we're confronted with our fear. So what if I'm not good enough? What if it's too much? What if it's right? And then we get stuck there. And so we recognize the resistance. We speak to our resistance. I see you. And then we move into, a visualization process that is not just a one and done, right? You have to repeatedly continue to visualize, imagine, and nurture that vision, and nurture the vision of yourself achieving it, right? And so when you do that, then you can start to notice that resistance start to ease and start to dissolve.
Yeah, and we will sometimes, depending what age we all are. I'm 49. I've got 49 years worth of evidence that may show me that the other shoe is going to drop. No matter what I do, it's going to be whatever. There could be these well-worn grooves and structures and walls and buildings and paint and windows and all the things that would say that this is what gets created. But that was from before. And that was from before doing the visualizations and asking the deeper questions of why are you showing up, and why, and what is it that you're trying to keep me safe from? What are you afraid of? And then realize that that's just a construct that's been built from the subconscious program that we can, in a moment, start to create new evidence by step by step by step, and creating win, whoop, lost a minute, win, and just keep going with that higher purpose.
Yep. And so there's you go. You have two tools that can support you in overcoming the internal resistance and actually reframing, reprogramming our minds for success. Like who would like to experience more success, right? Who would like to actually experience more of that feeling, freedom, that I can joy, do it, right? As opposed to the fear that a lot of us keep running into each other.
Yep.
So now we're going to bring it to strengthening the will through action, right? So we've identified the stages of the will. We've identified what the resistance is, and two tools that can help you to overcome that. And so now the next crucial step, right, is taking aligned action, right? Because without that aligned action, your goals just remain as just ideas, right? And it's the action that propels us forward. So think of your will as a muscle, and you were kind of picking up on that or sharing about this, Justin, right? So it's that muscle, right, that you have to engage regularly, right? So this is really, that practice to engage with it regularly so that it can become stronger. And so that strengthens your will. It brings you closer to your desired outcome.
Marcella has her hand up. Did you have something to share, Marcella, or were you okay?
Yes. Go ahead. You were muted.
Mute. Okay. So when you were speaking before, I started to write down the only way to know something is to experience it. If you no longer enjoy it, then you find something new that you would love to do. With the experience, you will be in the knowing. Without trying, you will stay in the thinking.
Exactly.
Does that make sense? Yep. So that's what I just wanted to share that, because that just came to me, because we can think about it and be in thought about it, but without experiencing it, and without us going into it to explore whatever that opportunity is, we won't be in the knowing until we go through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Putting the Tao Te Ching almost. It's like, the resistance is the way, it's like the way of the flow of all the things, and without the it's like that. It's like without going ahead and taking action. Like that's, I like to say it more and more, and people will see my posts who follow me on Facebook or Instagram. The difference between living and existing.
Okay.
you're explaining right now is living. It's like experiencing whatever it is versus like, I'm just gonna exist and be over here because I don't want to, give to those fears and things like that. You know what I mean? Look back with regret. That's actually most people's biggest thing at the end of their current life on earth is, oh, I wish I would have, so
Right.
sharing that.
Yeah, beautiful.
And by the way, we're going to go a little over. We're going to move through
Yes.
these next couple of slides as quickly as
almost at the
possible,
end.
just to honor everybody's commitment because we
Yep.
booked it from 7 to 9.
Yep. And so cultivating willpower in daily life, 3 daily practices that you can do are mindfulness.
Yep, mindfulness. So this is about staying present in each moment and practicing mindfulness. You become more aware of your thoughts and emotions. A little hack is when you're making food, brushing teeth, pouring a glass of water, making tea, coffee, matcha, smoothies, whatever you're doing. What is your intention with what you're doing? What is the intention of this meal that you're having? What is the intention of this morning shower and things like that? And that little hack of like, why am I like, what is this? And being that present to, wow, the water on my skin, the smell of this, how many, did anybody even be present to their smell today? Just like, and that is presence. That's as simple as it is because we can just get going. So mindfulness.
Yep. And then the intention setting, this one is self-explanatory, but setting a clear intention for your day helps your will, right? So instead of waking up and then figuring out, no, just set clear intentions,
Yep.
right? This is what I'm going to be working today.
Yeah.
And then you get it done. And
Yeah.
again, it's not about over-committing, over-promising, being extra, right? It's about being very intentional about your actions. And then that helps you to stay focused and aligned.
Yeah, and finding the running shoes so that you can go running,
Yep,
right, Masha?
Exactly.
And then self-reflection. It's a really beautiful tool, whether that's in the morning or at night or any time during the day. A lot of people like to, at the end of the evening, reflect upon this. So regular self-reflection helps you to assess where you are on your journey and where you need to recalibrate. Like we're talking, oh, I'm stuck in the thinking mind, or I'm in too much deliberation, and I have, I know that all these acts of will are here, but I just need to recalibrate just for a minute, which could just mean taking a minute.
Yeah, exactly. It's very important because otherwise you're just in automatic,
Yep.
right? Just every day, and then you find yourself not achieving your goals. So
And it also,
self-reflection is very important.
yep, it allows you also to celebrate the wins. I don't know many people that do that very much for themselves, even the small wins, to celebrate the small win. Like, wow, I joined this masterclass today. What an amazing win.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's like, oh no, I didn't, run for president. Who wants to do that? But like, it's not big enough. So it's like
Yeah.
one little thing at a time.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last one is connecting to your higher self. And so we're going to share a 5-minute higher self morning setting practice. If you want to
Take a picture.
Yep, you can take a screenshot of that. We
Mhm.
want to leave you with a practice that you can do.
Yep.
And so you begin your day, you can sit in meditation for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm. And as you take a picture of that, there's a lot of times where it's like, I'm praying, I want this to happen, but actually asking yourself a question like, what is my highest intention for today? Or what does spirit want me to create today versus like, this is what I want to create, and then be open to the answers that come in and just listen and set your intentions with that. And then take those small steps each day on your way towards that goal.
Yep.
Clapping hands.
Beautiful. Excellent. So this is part, we've talked about the alchemy of self. And so this masterclass, it's a huge step towards that, right? And this is no small feat, right?
Yeah, we tried to cram it into 2 hours, but this is like a month's worth of work and ongoing.
Yep.
As one of the facets of the whole transpersonal framework. And this
Yep.
is why we're taking 13 months in our group coaching program to really get down to this, because it's not only about the awareness, but also the practices. And in those practices becomes the embodiment. And by the time 13 months is over, it's just like, whoa, I can think of something and it happens, because there's been those daily practices.
Yep.
And the
Okay.
sharing in group. So this is
just the beginning.
As you can see on the screen, there's also what we're bringing forth in this program is an alignment with these different energy chakras. each one of these energies, sometimes we get told, be quiet in our throat chakra if we're speaking. It's kind of like our sense of expression of our true self gets a little distorted. Like, why even say that? Or I'm going to say it so loudly so everybody gets to listen to me. That's a distorted version. So coming into that alignment is where that higher self and clarity can come through. And this is what the image is capturing in its symbolism there.
So our journey starts November 18th, Monday. We're going to do a soft start. We wanted to start this year. We didn't want to wait until after the new year. So we're going to do a soft start this year on Monday, November 18th. And then next year, we'll start diving in. We have our 2 in person. We're going to kick it off with our Sacred Beginnings. And I actually have it here. This is going to be the program outline, which will begin with our Sacred Beginnings retreat at our home, Villa Sol here in Plantation, Florida. There is the option to join in virtually if you're not able to join us. And then that retreat is happening on Friday, the 22nd and the 23rd. And so we're basically going to be going through
Of November, sorry.
Of November, yes, November. And then
yeah, so we've provided basically an overview. We don't want to go through all these. We want to be mindful with your time, but each one of these months, we're going to be working weekly calls with the group. And you also get to have some one-on-one times to go really deeper with some of the things that may be coming up that are a little more personal to ourselves.
Yep.
And then there's also energy work and different activities that we're going to be offering to help move some of this stuff. But each one of the months it's aligned with chakras, as you can see, is going to be going into these different practices of the transpersonal framework that build upon each other almost in a quantum. It's not like linear in any way, shape, or fashion. It's a constantly moving and evolving sacred geometry of work.
And then we're going to close with a celebration of self. Month 13th is to celebrate our transformation.
Yep.
And so far we have Lisa who hopped up. She's joining our group.
Well, there's many people that we can.
Eric, who's on the call.
Claudia.
As Nova and Eric are thinking about joining us as well.
Masha, Fraser, my mom.
Claudia Nieves. And yeah, we're really excited.
A couple people that aren't on the call today. There's a beautiful group of like 13 or 15 people at this time. And it's going to be very potent. We personally went through the transpersonal psychology accreditation as coaches. And I was like, oh, what are we going to use this for? Little did I know that it was going to be a complete metamorphosis of my internal operating system to be able to navigate and create healing in my relationships with family, with baby, with kids, with the world, with everything.
Yeah. So the value, right? We're not just bringing our transpersonal coaching, but we're also bringing a lot of the different certifications, practices that we've gathered in the last 10 years. And so we invite you to join us for $444 a month. We have special discount for those of you who take action within the next, obviously today, with the next 24 hours. You get 10% off, so that's $399 a month. And you can also pay in full and get an extra 10% off. This price that you're seeing right here, this is the first and last time we're going to run it for that price. We want to make it super accessible. And so we're going to be focusing on the Ascend plan. We had another 2 options on our previous masterclasses, but most people are joining the Ascend. So we're just going to focus up on the Ascend plan. And so if anybody we have payment plan options. So if you need a little more time and
don't let circumstances get in the way, reach out to us directly. If it's a time circumstance or a money circumstance, like this is really our initial cohort, as we would call it in the coaching lingo. And it's about creating partners in transformation out into the world and then being that ripple effect. And not only by participating in this when we do the next round, which will come kind of like concurrently a few months down the road, we get to also be, what do they call that? Auditing. So you get to be a part of whoever you would want to invite in and we're, be able to grow this greater consciousness through utilizing of these tools.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to take a screenshot, is this the one you wanted, Tasnova? There's 2. There is the first
one. Please.
You can take a screenshot so you can see exactly what's going to be offered. You'll get an opportunity to go through with our meeting. people.
She got it.
The second one, did you get the second one?
Yes, thank you.
Amazing. And so that is it. The next step, join us. We're starting very soon, November 18th. And we're so excited about this offering. We cannot wait to join us. We have an incredible group of people. And, you know, today's masterclass was super packed. And it was still just a sliver.
Yeah.
A sliver.
It's so
what
exciting
the
for us. We're even
program
hearing
will have.
our kids use the language like, I'm experiencing hunger. And we're like, wait a minute, you're not hungry? And they're like, no, I'm starving. I'm like, oh, you're experiencing starving? And they're like, no, I'm experiencing hunger. And it's amazing how the transformation just through the use of words that create a space. Like, can you hold space for me, Dad? I just want to run this. You know, it's like that alone, just that sentence that I just said is, I'm a yes. You know what I mean? Because like it's creating a whole new way of communication. Claudia and I, you know, we're human beings. Sometimes in relationship, different stresses come up. It's really never between us, but like an outside stress can come up. And I can start having one of my little internal temper tantrums, but being able to understand that she understands there's a part of me that got triggered awake. Or even in like lately, it's been all about will. And I'm like, I can't quite seem to get my feet underneath me, no matter what I'm doing. It's not in alignment with the things that I wrote down today. And it's like, wait a minute, zoom out of that thing. And there's probably a bunch of back office organizational things that have to be done before climbing the mountain. But I can't let myself get defeated and then start becoming triggered around. So in relationship, these skills and these tools really create a beautiful way, whether you have a relationship that you're in now, or you're cultivating a relationship to come forth, to be able to really be with self and notice when there's those different operating systems.
And if you hold space for others, if you serve others, then this framework will help you. This is like step number one, right? As we're holding space, because we're coming in with all of our sub-personalities, all of our stuff. And so the idea of the alchemy of self and the idea with psychosynthesis is to come to a place of wholeness, right? So you don't have all these sub-personalities, and I view them as like different arms, right? That are pulling you in different
Like
directions.
octopus, yeah.
Right, so that one by one, you can integrate, right, each sub-personality into your self, capital F's, and then you can operate from a place of wholeness, you know, and that's one of the biggest things I feel like that this training gave us. And you know, people ask us like, how do you do it? You know, people really want to learn, and so this is a step one of that program. So any questions, comments? How was this class for you? Did you gain value?
Did we do a good job? There's a part of me that wants to know if I did a good job. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you all for hanging with us this whole time. I know there's a lot of words and a lot of speaking.
Yeah.
But
we want to make sure that, you know, we really could give you as much as possible and pack it up into this masterclass.
Yeah.
This was my first experience and I loved it. I should have joined long time ago, but you know, schedule, kids, work. So, but keep posting on your social media, because that's how I found today. Other classes, I think I've seen it, but it wasn't everywhere, because today it was everywhere. And then you guys sent me actually like in a message, and then that's when I saw. So
got it.
Nice, amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
Coming out, right? We're actually now with our framework. We really want to be in service. We want to support. This is a really powerful framework, and so we're taking action. We're using our skillful will, right, to figure out what are those strategies that work.
Yeah, and some of the deeper
we're taking action.
Some of the deeper healing work that we do, really it operates in this framework, in this container of transpersonal coaching, because it's really integration is bringing together the fragmented parts of self into the whole. And being able to operate in a whole way of being, and just being, you know, like, hey, there's this stuff that gets to express itself in individuals. Like Claudia was mentioning, holding space, like what it is to actually have somebody sitting in front of you expressing themselves in an angry way, but it's not the truth of who they are. You know what I mean? Mostly, you know, mostly. I say everybody has that innocence within them. And one of my vows is to see the innocence in everyone. Being able to operate within that framework, doing deeper healing work. I know some of you on here are healers already in your own right. allows, like Claudia mentioned, projection. Like if I walk into a room full of people where we're doing a deep dive group breathwork facility and somebody's emoting, and I walk in with a projection of something's wrong or I didn't do this right, and I start spewing that all over, that energy doesn't lie. And it can actually create a space of worry amongst the container, amongst the group that we're working within. And I know a lot of you operate in groups and do different things group wise, and even with family, like in the family unit. So being able to notice, where am I projecting from, and being able to hold that space of center in whatever's going on. That's to me like
That's
what people
mastery.
strive for. Mastery, that's
Right.
PEO level. Like no matter if there's a storm, it's like, okay, guys, let's
that's mastery.
strategize here.
We're not pretending, we're not saying that this is easy, because right, it takes the constant awareness and all these different tools, but it is possible, and that's what we're striving for.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stop the recording now. Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, no more.